It's common in aviation now and in other industries, to learn about human factors, about how humans can be really ingenious, but we also make mistakes, and there's no getting around that. We're just humans. We're not computers. So people get tired, and people forget things, and we're not strong enough, and we don't work well at night, in nighttime, and things like that. That's been really interesting for me in the last part of my career, being involved in human factors training and discussing these sorts of things with other people, and translating what we learn from aviation into our personal life. Because we can't forget the fact that what happens outside of our work, affects our work as well. If we're tired, if we have a new baby at home or something like that, we can't help but get fatigued, and we're not performing very well at work. And a lot of that is, translating some of the theory into, things that we do in our personal life, like driving a car. We know we're going to get tired after driving for a couple of hours, and we know we get distracted, and there's other, crazy people on the road. We have to deal with it just like pilots have to deal with, and they have special terms for it, like situational awareness and threat and error management. But really, you can translate that into anything outside of your work, like driving a car, driving a car down the freeway. All these things impact on our ability to do a good job. So driving a car really is not much different to a pilot, flying a plane for 12 hours. We're going to be subject to the same sort of influences. So yeah, that's been really interesting for me, just having that appreciation of human factors, and it's been introduced into many aviation organisations as something to assist with our work. But there's we're human in our work and human outside of our work. So a lot of that theory can translate really well out into our private lives as well. The industry's changed a bit, since I started, and not just technology, but the economics driving a lot of airlines and aviation business. So I would naturally say something like, "Oh, you should have an interest in aeroplanes. You should have an interest in aviation itself before you come to a job role." But maybe that's not so important. Maybe there are people who come into the industry that they haven't really had much experience themselves flying. They've never really thought of aviation as a career. And that's okay, I guess. That's fine. But one thing's for sure: you need to develop an interest in the industry. If you don't have an interest when you start, then you need to work hard at developing an interest and an appreciation of the industry once you do start. There's no job in the industry that exists in isolation. Everybody is employed for a reason. You wouldn't be employed if the airline or the business didn't need you. Everyone has a job for a reason, and the reason usually involves liaison with other departments, so that if you don't do your job correctly, then it's going to affect other people in the whole system. So people really need to have an awareness of that, and if they can't see or appreciate the importance of that, doing their job because it affects everybody else in the industry, then they're in the wrong business. And the other thing I would say is that nothing ever stays the same in aviation for very long. If you're looking for a job where you can just come to work every day and just do the same thing, and then 40 years later you get a nice gold watch in retirement, then you're going to be sadly disappointed by the aviation business. You need to have an interest in new technologies, new ways of doing business, new economic have an appreciation of economic impacts, and because the industry is so volatile, and never stays the same for very long. As an engineer, of course, the aircraft that I first started working on long since retired now, and there's new technology aircraft. So being interested in the machinery, you have to have an appreciation that the technology is going to progressively change as you move through your career.